Joining us now is Spencer Kuvin, an attorney representing a group of Jeffrey Epstein's survivors. Thank you so much, Spencer, for joining us today. Give me your reaction to these emails.
Well, unfortunately, my reaction is I'm not surprised. There's been a lot over the last almost 20 years now that I've been unable to disclose. And the FBI has a wealth of information that they're sitting on. A picture paints 1,000 words. We've started to see emails, but what we have been demanding be released by the FBI have been the photographs that were kept in a safe at Epstein's home. These are photographs of compromising material on individuals that Epstein wanted to have material on. In addition to that, he had videotapes. He had surveillance videos in all of his homes, in Palm Beach, where I am, also in his Manhattan home, as well as on his island. And the FBI is in the custody of all of those videotapes. And I think that if ultimately this discharge petition is signed, which it should be, then the American public can judge the people on those videos and in those photographs for themselves and make determinations about who they want in power or political office or corporate heads or whoever it may be.
Spencer, have you seen these emails previously?
So, yes, they were part of the criminal case in the Crime Victims' Rights Act case that was filed down in the Southern District of Florida, where a number of the victims were fighting to get this information. But a lot of this information was under protective order by the federal judge, and it was not to be released. Now, thankfully, the House Oversight Committee is doing their job, and they're working very hard to make sure that the general public sees this information that was previously kept secret.
Do you know what law enforcement did with these emails, if they had them in their custody at one point as part of their investigation?
So the FBI has had these emails. The Department of Justice was defending the United States of America in the Crime Victims' Rights Act case in the Southern District in front of Judge Mara down there. So they were well aware that the emails were there, that they existed. But again, remember, you're talking about two different elements of proof here. In a civil cause of action, there is just a preponderance of the evidence to prove someone has done something wrong. Criminal justice requires proof beyond a reasonable doubt. So insinuating or circumstantial evidence of emails, even sometimes photographs and videotapes, doesn't cut it. So just because somebody cannot be prosecuted because there's not enough evidence to prove beyond a reasonable doubt, that doesn't mean that the American public shouldn't see this information for what it is and make the judgment call on their own of who they want in power.
In one of these emails with author Michael Wolff in 2019, Epstein tells Wolff that Donald Trump, quote, knew about the girls as he asked Ghislaine to stop. We can't verify that, but what do you make of it? What should the American public take away from that?
We had heard back when the original cases were being prosecuted, and I was handling these in civil court back in 2007 and 2008, that there was this close relationship between Epstein and Trump at the time that soured all of a sudden. And it was our understanding at the time that it soured because Epstein was recruiting girls out of Mar-a-Lago. And that's why they soured that relationship. There's been subsequent information that came out about a property land deal as well, that they were both bidding on a piece of property in Palm Beach and one got upset at the other. But at the end of the day, the relationship and the closeness of it between Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein has never been denied. It is undeniable. It is just the level of what Donald Trump did or didn't do that the general public needs to see.
Yeah, it definitely sparks more questions along those lines. And it all comes timing-wise as Congresswoman-elect Grijalva is set to be sworn in this afternoon. That makes her the pivotal vote on this discharge petition to force the DOJ to release all of the Epstein files. What does this mean, this moment, if this discharge petition passes? What does it mean for the survivors you represent?
It means hope. These are young women, now young women, back then children, that have been denied justice by both the state and federal justice system repeatedly for over 20 years. These are young children who were told that they were going to get justice only to be denied over and over and over again, all the while up to the point where he commits suicide or dies in jail. So the hope is that this information will come out so that the world will truly and fully understand the breadth of what was going on in this Epstein debacle and this sexual pyramid scheme that he was corrupting individuals, and individuals were corrupted involved in this process.
We know the FBI, the DOJ, has said, as far as they're concerned, the Epstein case is case closed. But you have these congressional leaders, the House Oversight Committee currently doing an ongoing investigation. Are you confident that all information will ultimately be revealed through this channel?
It's my hope. With the discharge petition that is currently before the House Oversight Committee, I've actually been in contact with the House Oversight Committee. I volunteered my time to go up there and put things in context for them. If they asked me to do so, I'd be happy to do so. But at the end of the day, my hope is that both Republicans and Democrats want the truth out about what happened here. Listen, Donald Trump, before he was elected, promised to the American people that we would get to the bottom of this and that the information would be released. We want him to hold true to that promise. We want the Department of Justice to hold true to that. And we want the House Oversight Committee to release not just documents, but again, video and photographic evidence that they have in their custody.
Spencer Kuvin, thank you for your time, and we really appreciate you joining us.